as I'm getting ready for my next session, I just have a few more. Why do people always stop walking up? It's very strange. As soon as I start these, people start walking down the street or somebody comes up through this lot next to me. It's so weird. Anyway, and actually real people. If y'all know anything about me, like I see people who are real. They exist. They're just not with us. So yeah, real people. One of the things I wanted to discuss with you guys, because I received a message from one of my followers, our followers, right? Our community followers. And it was along the lines, it was like questioning how to harness their spirit guides, their guide teams, their archangels. One of the things I can tell you is don't try and harness the energy of any of your archangels or angels, period, because they have a mission, and you really kind of may not know it or understand it. It may not be in line with what you want, but they still do have a mission. And I don't really mess around too much with trying to harness that energy. I just let it flow, right? That's the best advice I have for you, especially if you can feel it, like the divinity feeling is just way more profound than if you have, or it could be one of your spirit guides that you're actually really, really, really close to, and you may want to get in contact. And there's a lot of tricksters and jokesters out there, just as much as people like to prank on TikTok. Guess what? Spirit guides have a sense of humor too. Mine all do. They really carry the spirit of my childhood and my youth. I was extremely funny, comical, always into stuff, mischievous, cantankerous, if you want to call it. Always into messes. Here comes the train, of course. Anyway, so one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is how to harness that energy, how to know, like, if your spirit guides are trying to help you out of a situation, right? And I'm gonna wait a second. I'm gonna get cards ready for my next session. You're stronger than what you think. You really know what, you set boundaries, believe it or not, in your aura, your entire aura. And if somebody tells you your aura is like just right here outside of you, normally an aura can reach up to 55 feet out. So you could be in a crowded room, and you could feel everything that was going on around you. If you're really in tune with yourself, you can feel what's going around you up to like 55 feet in both directions. So that's like 110 feet in circumference, right? So keep that in mind. And you may be taking in other people's feelings in the room. You may be that's why I really am not a big crowd person. I never have been. And when I am, I'm the person that sits in the back. I'm not really a people watcher, but I'm just kind of like, ooh. Always near the exit. Okay, guys. And gals. Okay. That was wild. Always something. Okay. It's going out again. Oh my goodness. Imagine imagine what I'm like when Mercury is in retrograde. Seriously. It gets really crazy in here and Mercury is direct. Alright. Come on. I know you have power. So what is the deal? Alright. Okay. So I think we've got all that fixed. Anyway, reposition the camera. So one of the things I want you to understand is that you can't really control a spirit guide or control an archangel or any of your guardians or angels, right? And some are funny and some of your tricksters, right? But you got to remember, just like on any team, there's somebody who sees your path going this way and that way, and it all just depends like on the effort you're willing to put into it, right? That you know whether or not, you know, every spirit guide may aspire for us all to become a leader of a country. You know, not all of us are going to become a leader of a country, right? Not all of us are going to be the president of a company. Not all of us are going to be, I mean, anybody can be a president of a company. You can just sign up, start a company tomorrow and be the president. If you feel like you need to be the president of something, just go down to your county courthouse and want to feel empowered, start a business. And if you're going to do it right, though. Like, put some thought into it before you just walk down there and start a business. But anyway, yeah, be careful of your tax forms and stuff. You have to turn those in every quarter or they'll charge you. It's not free. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on this. I received a question about it and I don't know that I answered it properly, but I thought about it and I'm really into just like letting the collective know. That way if somebody else in the collective has a question about it, and how do you know? You know, it was different for me from when I was a child because like I said, I've had paranormal activity my entire life. And just like the gentleman who is staying here now, you know, he can actually see future things. And it really scares him. Like before his mother passed away, he saw his mother laying in bed passing away. And she passed away the very next day. So when he sees stuff, it scares him because of the fact that, you know, he's actually lived a scenario that he saw. He knew the person, he saw it, and then it actually happened. And the way that it happened was the way that the person actually passed away. And not everything he sees is death, but he has seen some futuristic death, like premonitions, right? So, you know, if you have all this going on, you're working through your gifts and how to get those working for you. And then you're working with your guide team and your angels. Things can get a little tricky, right? So you just have to remember your aura is yours and your boundary is yours. And you can say it, you can claim it. And you can reject energy that comes into your space. Like last night, they came home and they came walking through. I think it was during Cancer's video, and it's not up yet. And I actually may redo it because they really changed the energy. And then I did Leo's, and the energy was down. And I thought, okay, is it down because Leo's energy is this way, or is it down because they actually walked through my area here? And I don't know. I have no idea because they were out drinking and doing something, and I don't know what they were doing. I don't know. I don't ask them. It doesn't matter to me. Well, it matters, but as long as they're alive, we're good. But, you know, you have to take all of that into account, right? And so when I do these things or I work with people, I have to think about all of that. I have to think and clear myself a lot and make sure the energy is coming from the reading and the energy is coming towards the person, right? That it's not coming from an outside paranormal activity, that it's not coming from me personally, right? And that it has nothing to do with me and what's going on in my life. Because of course I'm human and I have stuff going on too, right? So one of the things you have to take into account, right, when you're doing this type of work, And especially as a blueprinter, and I'm not saying that we're here to of some higher purpose than anyone else. I don't believe that any being, whether it's earthworm or starseed or blueprinter or whatever, is here and they have like some kind of, higher purpose. Every purpose, every brick, every grain of sand, every blade of grass, everything is just as important one another. And that's how I believe, right? So I don't think that, that blade of grass is more important than that wood there, and it's not. To me it's not. And that's kind of how I work with things when I work I work with my guide team. And we have somebody in our community who's kind of like stuck. They're starting to hear things and they're wondering, am I crazy? Am I like schizophrenic? Do I have like something? And I'm not saying that person does or doesn't have a medical condition, but the way they're describing things to me is how it came on to me when I was a child. And it was unexplainable, and thank God I didn't have parents that would like put me away for hearing things. But I didn't talk about it a lot. Like, I told my parents, and they were like, let it be. And I let it be. They weren't interested in having a child with a gift. They weren't interested in having, that. And they weren't interested in exploring it or helping me express my gift. They just weren't into it, right? And so it's something for you to know and think about. Sometimes I'll get the pricklies, right? And I know that there's, just like in any team, a football team, a sport, or anything, I'm just making comparative here, analogies. There's a team that's against you and for you, right? Because in order for something to go good for you, it's not like everybody gets to be that, right? And everybody's team is kind of working for each person to have and succeed in their own way. And, you have to just understand that people from opposing teams come by. Hey, not people, but beings from other opposing teams can also come and check in on you, right? And so you need to know that. And you need to know how to clear yourself. And it's not all the same. Some people use sage. Some people use cedar wood. Some people use incense. Some people use running. Some people use music. Everybody has a different way of clearing their aura. I use multiple ways just because it works for me. Sometimes I feel like, hey, that didn't really work. That didn't really feel right. And on days like that, I don't get on and do readings. I actually took time out from doing readings because I had something going on, and I wasn't going to let that life experience bleed into the readings. And I don't believe in that. And what was going on was so intense, it would have, right? And so that's when you have to take a step back. And that's the same thing with your guides and guardians and angels when you're working with them and you're doing spiritual work and soul work. I did do a dark night of the soul one year. Will never do that again, and highly don't recommend it. I actually spoke to a shaman during the process and afterwards, and he's like, you really don't need to do this in order to clear yourself. It's not something you need to do. But for me, I guess because I was raised Catholic, I needed to do it. It was kind of like my soul confessional process. But it's not something I would ever recommend to anybody. And a few people that I've talked to, so I highly don't recommend it. And it wasn't a really good experience to me. It was very confusing to me. It was leading me in this weird direction. And I didn't really understand what was going on for a while, like 6 to 7 months. And it was really, it was a setback in my life for almost a year because I was doing this soul work and I really didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't have a professional guide. And the people that I do know professionally in various fields, whether it's Psyche or tarot or soul working or Reiki or whatnot, they were all the people that I know are totally against our soul, I can't even say it right now. They're totally against that type of work because it's really not necessary. It happened, the way they believe is it happened in life. We're in the present. You're meant to be in the moment, right? And going backwards and burning old records is really not clearing you. It happened. It's a part of your being already. It's a part of who you are. And so you really can't get rid of that. So to sit there and rehash things that went wrong or went right, or you did wrong or did right, it really doesn't bring you forward into the present. And I guess because of the fact that I'm a person that learns from my mistakes really quickly, and I always implement change whenever I learn something. I don't just keep doing it over and over. And when I'm like, oh, I didn't get the results I want, I immediately start thinking of a different approach or a way I can recommunicate something, or if I need to just not do that, right? And so I want you to take that into account with your spirit guides and your guardians and your guide teams and your archangels that check on you, because they all do. And whether you know it or not, or believe it or not, they do. And there's the masters, even, as far as I'm not even going into that today. It's too much, way too much. But you know, and the ancients and the elders out there, the elder souls that are out there that know way much more than us and have done this for way longer than us, right? And there was an affirmation right there, like, yeah, they've been doing this a lot longer than you. You know, you can choose to work with them or not with them, and all you have to do is clear your aura. And that's a personal thing. And so really start taking the time to find out how to clear yourself and how you can clear stuff. Because when you start working with your guide team, your guides get excited. You know, they're like your compadres. You know, they're your friends. They go everywhere with you. They watch like 90% of what you do, which freaks me out sometimes, but it is what it is. And your angels too, because, you know, how can they help you if they don't know what you're doing, right? If they don't know what's going on in your life, how can they help you? But that's kind of freaking me. Sometimes I sit on the toilet and I'm like, seriously? Y'all see this? Y'all watch me pee? Are you kidding? But yeah, I mean, it's like, anyway, I always go way too far. But anyway, what I was saying was that just be careful. And if you're new to this, I don't encourage you to get into this unless you do research and work in advance. I don't encourage you to work with your third eye or anything of that nature. And I absolutely do not encourage you to use tarot to drive your life. If you are using tarot or card readings or any of that, you know, when they say, all of us, say, you know, if this resonates with you, right? And that means that, you know, there's umpteen million Aries out there, umpteen million Scorpios and Leos and Capricorns and Aquarius. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, right? No tarot reader is going to tap in to everybody's scenario. And not every Aries is going to have the same thing going on, because just like a Scorpio has 4 different levels, right? Aries, people have different moods, people have different lifestyles, they have different income barriers, they have different, I mean, just, it's not the same. The core message and the energy is maybe the same, and that's what I try to deliver, right? Because I don't try to decipher whether somebody's going to fall in love or what. Sometimes it happens in the reading, it just happens. I can't help that. But yeah, it's the same with your guides and guardians. They're suggesting things to you that may get you and lead you into the right direction, right? And all I can say is be very intuitive about what you're doing and what you're choosing to do and what you choose to listen to. That's a big deal. What you choose, people, it's like, oh, you are what you eat. But let me tell you, what you feed your mind matters. There's actual research out there. There's actual diets that is based off of what you feed your mind. And it's really important. It's really important that if you want to go in a certain direction in life, that you find the most knowledge and information on to give you the right foundation. So I can tell you that if you're on this channel, I want you to watch your mind diet. If you plan on working with your guardians, your spirit teams, your guides, your angels, please make sure you're feeding your mind powerful, positive, connective, energy information, that you're not dwelling on, a lot of negativity and whatnot, because you will find that if you feed your mind negative thoughts and you feed your mind a lot of negative information, when your guides and spirit teams contact you or get you are going to have a negative reaction, and you are going to have go down a possible negative path in the same direction, right? So I want you to start off that way. I want you to feed your mind with the positive knowledge on whatever the subject matter is that you plan on doing, or whatever work you plan on doing with your guide teams and your guardians, because spiritual work is a powerful thing, and it's all lives off of energy. And the energy you put out during your spiritual work and your meditations and the work you do with your guide teams is the energy you get back. So you don't want some kind of like wonky scenario. And I've gotten them back. Boy, I can manifest really fast, guys. Really, really fast. And some of the stuff I manifest, I'm like, dude, I did that. I know I did that. And I know exactly what I thought when I did that. And I'm like, I'm not going to be thinking like that again. Like, I have done it. And I'm like, sit there, that's exactly what I asked for. And that is what I got. I got it in a weird way, but I got exactly what I wanted. And so you really need to make sure when you're using manifestation and working with your guardians and your guide teams, you are manifesting positive things in your life. You do not want to manifest anything negative in your life. You can walk outside without manifestation, okay? And attract a ton of negative shit without bringing it into your life. But you're choosing to bring this into your life with your energy and your thought and your mind and your actions. Please bring positive things into your life when working with your guide teams and your guardians. Please clear yourself. Please make sure you're happy. Listen to your music while you're meditating. Clear your mind. If a thought goes through your mind while you're meditating and it doesn't resonate with it, you tell your thought that. No, take that one out, please. It is okay. And as you experiment with this, just know that you have the support of all of us. You can reach out to us. My email is starseedheart@gmail.com. I have a couple other that are linked to this channel, but that's the one I prefer you to email me at. And just reach out to me. I have a ton of friends in the industry that are very powerful, positive people, and all different genres within the spiritual work. And so if you need help with something, please reach out to me. Please ask questions. I am not the end all be all, and I never aspire to be. I enjoy being around a group of people in this arena, especially in the spiritual arena. I love to learn. I don't love to be the know-it-all. Absolutely not. So please know that. And I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and I hope I answered your question on how to tell. You'll know your energy will shift. You'll get a chill, you get prickles. You can tell that if the energy works for you, how the feeling washes over you, and you can clear your aura just as simply as getting up and cooking, or just getting up and moving away from it. Movement is a big deal, and keep moving. And hey, start your mind diets now, please. Thank you.